we have another red day in the market. Overall picture seems bearish if you are looking at the charts like this on a 1 hour candle, where you are looking at red candles continuously flowing down. But if you take a step back, zoom out and look where this is turning out, you can see this crystal clear, right? This is XRP BTC, and it shows you we are still way early in the cycle. BTC is slowing down, and that's what we want. Right now you can look at different charts highlighting the importance of the support range where we are at now, and look at what's the important level which we have to sustain, right? This is XRP on a daily chart, and this is what you can see, a support range near 0.72, and right now we are at recent price range of support, which is 0.78. Then if you zoom in to see the chart on a 4 hour chart, this is what you can see. Say for example, once you're looking at this, you are like, okay, if we get a bounce, we need to break above this pattern to reduce the bearish pressure. Now to look at the overall picture and Bitcoin market, you can look at this scenario. Now keep this in mind, as you are getting this bearish cross here, which is the 50-day moving average crossing the 200-day moving average to the downside on a daily, which is called a bearish death cross, right? So in this aspect, if you are generating higher low and higher highs, that's a trend changing when you are getting a bearish cross to the downside. So now we know that even though the price is creating higher highs and higher lows on a shorter range, we are not looking at a direct bullish rally from here. Instead, we are eyeing for a long range of consolidation in this phase, because as we move higher, we may get pressure from sellers and go back down. Now we will go through these charts in a detailed manner so that you guys know where we are, instead of looking at the chart so zoomed in and getting confused. You can take a step back, zoom out and see what's the possibility there. So usually what happens is the market shows you a direction in that time frame. So this is on a daily, and you're moving like this. If you are eyeing the chart like this, in this manner, what you would be observing in the charts are like, okay, you came down, you're getting the lower highs and at one base. So mostly you are looking for a capitulation, which is breaking down to the support zone here, which is highlighted in the green box. So don't be that guy who's selling out at the bottom, where the market is just going to capitulate and then going to come back up. If you are a long-term guy with your average somewhere here 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, anything below 0.5, if you sell here and then buy back, what would be the price where you're buying back? Will it be worth doing that? The level of risk has to be considered when the market pumping down with a lot of volume. Exchanges tends to give you higher spreads. So you are now playing against the market, high frequency trading bots, and then the market spreads. So you do need to calculate all of this before you take any kind of action. Now that's on a daily, right? We need to go through the charts, understand it with different comparisons, XRP to BTC, XRP to altcoin market, BTC to altcoin market, and generalize to understand what you can expect in your portfolio in coming future, because we have a trend here in long term. When you zoom in, you have another trend in a short term. So what's gonna happen in next couple of months? That's what we're gonna look at today. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, we know that the market is showing you a lot of signals that right now it's looking bearish. But now you come back to the top, look at where the market cap has been, and you can kind of jump into that market cap chart itself. You can directly go into a yearly maximum, whatever you like to see there. But in general, when you're looking at this, you will definitely understand you go up, then you come down. But right now here, what you are eyeing at is previously, when you scroll these, you can actually see zoomed in this view. Okay, it moved up, it came back, fine. Now if you actually take this back to the previous cycle, what you are eyeing at is you can't even view the previous pump there, right? Now, if you are looking at a range where you are just taking this range out, say from here till the bottom, you can see another wave to the upside and coming back down. So when you include this stuff, that's minimized. It's kind of micro stuff which you can't even eye here. Now as you go forward, that's something what we are gonna look at. As you're gonna continue higher, this is gonna get miniaturized. So now you can kind of look at the total market capitalization and the dominance, right? So here what you're looking at in yellow is the BTC going down. Now this is a yearly stuff. So to get the maximum picture, what you can do here is just go to the maximum range and understand what happened in previous ranges. So what you can do is just zoom into that one and clearly make your own perception of what the market is showing you, because the market can show you a lot of different stuff, and if you are missing that one, you may not actually get the correct stuff. Say if you are eyeing this stuff, clearly you are looking at, okay, the last market cap, we had this drop in Bitcoin dominance, then it went back up, it came back low. Now when did altcoins pump? You can keep it here to see did Ether or XRP move at that time. So to get clear picture, you can just take out all the other assets. If you want to keep them, you can keep them. If you don't want, you don't have to. Now we'll just for this instance keep Ether and XRP here to consider this, right? So the noise is less on the charts. When BTC started dropping, nothing was moving higher. When BTC reached the first drop area, Ether was reaching a next level higher. That was next wave up, right? Either had its move one here, then it consolidated long, it pumped its second wave at the top. Look at XRP, it was still way lower. Then BTC consolidated there for a little bit of time and then it dropped, and that drop was when you had that level of pump in altcoins. Now you come here, zooming in at this range, what can you see? Now this is clear. You don't have to take my word on it. You can just look at this on your eyes and understand this. You peaked, this is the first drop, and you're consolidating there. You haven't dropped much. Now the same scenario is happening with the first drop. You can see here that the market is moving, right? So now here we'll have to again take out all these other coins just to give you the perspective where Ether and XRP is at in this chart. Fine, we'll take all the others out and see this. You see, Ether actually moved higher, pretty higher, similar to what happened in last cycle here also. Now this is giving you an understanding Bitcoin is going to have another drop in dominance, meaning in the entire market the money will be moving to altcoins rather than jumping on to the Bitcoin itself. Now you can kind of scroll back towards the time frame where we had this drop. You don't actually need way before. What you can just look at is here. Now as we just saw, when the market is going to drop after this in Bitcoin dominance, you're going to get that rise. Now put that into perspective here. We just talked about the XRP Bitcoin chart. This is the XRP Bitcoin chart on a weekly. So this is not like that short-term chart. This is kind of a macro view where you are looking at the market all the way from 2013 towards 2021. So that is giving you a perspective, long range. Now what are you eyeing at? It has been respecting this particular range of support from 2013. Great. Now it's bouncing here in this cycle at 2021, bounced higher. Fine. Now after it bounced higher here, it did not actually look back, it rallied higher, whereas this time it bounced, it came back, retested, then it moved higher. But the difference being, now you don't have that 200-day moving average extended here because that's a 200-day running average, moving average. So now if you consider that being here, the price moved above the 200-day moving average and came back to retest that before it started that rally. Now it had its wave one, but before the major huge price fluctuation, it had to retest that one. So now put that into perspective. 200-day moving average is way higher, so the price haven't yet started its rally. If it's going to create a shoulder here, you are going to get a head and shoulder pattern and then a move higher. At the bottom, you already received a double bottom pattern, which is moving to the upside. Now, if you move this, you can actually look at the RSI trending higher. The RSI is showing you a rising pattern when the price is coming down. Now, remember, when the price is coming down like this and you are looking at the stuff, it's clear. The RSI is showing you higher highs and higher lows, which kind of shows a general guy who's looking at the macro scenario that the strength is building. The market is moving to the upside. So what will you do? You generally look at different assets to understand where they are in their market cycle. So now on a weekly, which is the macro scenario, which I've dropped to my patrons way before, to understand when the market is dropping, that's when the emotions are so high and the psychology is, kind of in a way that, okay, should I sell my position and try to buy back at the bottom? What if you miss the bottom? Because to get a confirmation, you will be waiting for a higher low that the trend is changing, or if that's the opposite for the top. If you're trying to get the top and get a confirmation, now you're waiting for a lower high. So that kind of gives you the confirmation, but you missed the actual top or the bottom. But you reduced your risk exposure substantially. Now that's what we do here, because we are not here for gambling. Now, XRP USD on a weekly gives you this scenario where you're looking for the macro perspective, where the macro is still running up in that rounded bottom and now moving higher. Now you look back at all of this stage when the price was coming back down and hitting this level, but at one point the price started going parabolic, moving away from the trending support here. That means it's a parabolic range, started higher, but we peaked here in April. Now it's going to be a couple of months, just 2 months. Most of the assets in this asset class has already consolidated 120 days, 130 days, 150 days. Some like OMG, Zap and all consolidated like around 300 days, right? So now you put that here, you understand, okay, even though this is my favorite asset, it has some time for consolidation. Look at this one, it's still consolidating, hasn't started its bull run. So once it starts gaining here against BTC, that's when you're going to see that massive rally in wave 2 in XRP USD pair. But still, you're not getting that lower lows moving to the downside in the trend. Look at the MACD, it's trending higher. The support is here, so it can consolidate back till that range. RSI is moving higher. It's not trending lower, it's trending higher. Now you're not looking for last 2 months, 3 months, you're looking for last 2 years, trying to project what next year would like to be, right? So if you want to look at next 3 months, you're trying to look at last 1 year and trying to plot it. If you're looking at next 6 months, you're trying to look at the macro scenario, trying to plot it. So if you are in this market for next 1 year, yeah, that may give you substantial profit. If you are here for next 1 week, nah, that won't be the case because the market is trending lower. Now, you can jump into a 12-hour chart, 4-hour chart, whichever you like to understand this scenario. You get this pattern where you're going to retest your lows again and again, which is kind of acting as a support here. And if you break this, that's going to be a capitulation. And once you get that capitulation, that would be near your previous low, the recent low which we put in. Now you zoom back out, keeping the mouse same place, you see that has been a support range. And that's what we are highlighting in our chart here, right? This is the support range, which is acting as a support from a long time. Now, you can actually jump into the altcoin market cap to see what the general altcoin market is doing. Now, we had recent dips, which kind of, shows you a lot of volatility, and majority who are in the right assets, who still have their money in the market, is like, okay, what's happening in the market? You go look at some assets which just went to zero. Now, remember, that's happening, right? There was one like, iron titanium, which just went way down. It dropped like that at that point. So if you haven't lost your money like that, now understand, okay, you are in an asset which is having liquidity, which is still having fundamental investors believing that project is going to continue higher. Now, this is kind of support level where you are eyeing the market at the moment now, and you're thinking, okay, what can the market do? Now, yeah, that's a 12-hour chart. If you want to get more perspective, you can kind of move into daily chart, weekly chart, and look at this. Now, avoid these couple of long wicks, because that wick, even if you consider, it's only showing that the price went down, the sellers pushed the market so low, but buyers were in there and bought all of those units which were sold off by the sellers or the bears. So in general, bulls push the market way up above the support range, and it's still holding on there. Now, it won't be that massive rally in most of the coins, because you haven't actually bounced in the altcoin market from this resistance range, which would be showing you that trending higher pattern. But right now you came back to the previous support level, so that means you are going to get an impulse to the upside, fine, but it won't be that macro huge wave to the upside, because you haven't bounced from this level. Now you put that into perspective here, the RSI has consolidated pretty much here like a distribution pattern and then broke to the downside. So now you go back in history to see what was happening in the last cycle like that. You went up, you are now looking at the consolidation phase of wave 2, then consolidation phase of wave 1. Where did you actually get these kind of fluctuations where the market was kind of, in that long-term distribution pattern where it was also trending lower? Now that's in wave 1, and you get like 300 days of consolidation there. Now here at this moment, you are eyeing that the moving average is way higher. Now usually when you get the consolidation, what happens? The price come back to the moving average range and consolidate. So if you take all these other lines out, you can see that the current position is like the 20-day moving average is holding the price. If we are going to consolidate in this range, we have been consolidating from some time. We can consider it from March. We are kind of in this range. We haven't moved much higher, trending higher. We came back down because when the price was moving to the upside here, you can see that the RSI is trending down. The RSI is showing you lower highs. So that's something which you can easily understand or compare it with the XRP. Now, in general, you can even look at the Ether chart to understand, okay, what it is doing. It's something way similar to the altcoin market cap, but when you look at the RSI, you still understand that it's still way higher. If you can just put the general concept in the market, looking at this low here, then extending this, okay, it's kind of feeling like you are nearing a support where it can slowly consolidate and grind higher. That again means you are not going up tomorrow, because what people have here is undervalued assets. Fine. What does that mean? If you are buying into an undervalued asset, understand it's not going to go higher the next day. You buy today, it's not going to skyrocket tomorrow. Even if it is undervalued, it can still drop 5-10% and it's still undervalued. The same concept goes when the price goes up. If it pops 100,000x, at that 1000x point, it's overvalued. If the fundamental is being priced in and somewhat the market push it way higher, it gets extended. Now, even if it goes 5 or 10% above from there, even 100% from there, that's still overpriced, overvalued. So the chances are high that it would correct lower. Similar to that, compare this one. The market has actually dropped like around 56-60% in general, but XRP dropped like 66%. Now we came back up a little bit, retested the previous support level here, and right now going to retest the bottom. So that would be the double bottom which we are looking at in general market, because if you go on a daily chart in XRP and look at the previous run higher, you actually have something similar at every point. You zoom in, you come back and you see this, okay, the market came back down, but on a 4 hour you get a double bottom there. Now you come back here, you created a double bottom which was having a higher low. That's fine because the RSI was also trending higher. Before jumping out of the market or jumping into the market, look at all these macro scenario and place yourself there. if you are looking at the chart in a wrong way, zoomed in to understand, okay, right now it's going down and I should get out of the market, it may be the wrong decision you're going to take. Instead, take step back and then analyze the market. Once you understand that the market is doing this and it's trending higher, now it's your choice and your decision what to do. However, you can actually look at the trend, trying to connect these previous supports and see what the market is doing. Is it actually nearing a support? Is it going to retest that support? Horizontal, trend line, rising, angled, all of them, and then rebalance your portfolio if necessary. If not, then understand one stuff. If you bought into one asset and the fundamental hasn't changed, just the price is fluctuating, ask your question why you bought that asset at the first place. Then come here, look at November, December last year. When SEC case was at the high, we dropped, but the case has not solved yet. Still, from that low, the bottom which we put in was like 0.1675, say 0.17, and then from there we went to around $1.99, near $2 mark, which is like 10x in profit from there. Still, the case has not been closed and it's still moving like that. So it's your choice what you should do with the market. But personally, I'm not selling anything until my targets are reached for my trading positions and my long-term bags, which when I take profit, I share with my patrons. When I buy, I inform them. So now they are better aware that when I'm buying, when I'm selling in the market. Because when I take 10, 15, 20x in profits, they know which asset I'm closing to take profit. And when I'm rebalancing it to another asset, they now know which asset I'm moving into. Because it's time in the market, not just trying to time the market, because timing the market is so hard and it can be a wrong decision. You try to buy at 0.8, it drops to 0.5. You try to buy at 0.5, it drops to 0.2. That happens all the time. So instead, try to buy at supports. And you don't know whether it's going to bounce or not, but you are trying to reduce your risk exposure. You're not trying to buy at resistance, you're trying to buy at a support. So that's common sense in the general way. Now, looking into the market, if you see tons of assets which are going to go higher, which are already like 1000x to the upside, now it's your decision whether you should enter into that asset or jump out. Now, I'll generally give one idea here. I've seen a lot of guys entering into Matic now, and I'm like, okay, it's their choice, it's their opinion, fine. But once an asset has done enormously, say this wave went like 400x from the bottom of the chart which you have, you're looking at this asset near to 1000x. So yeah, it may have a little bit of upside there, but ask the question yourself. Once you pump this much, say 400x in this cycle, what are you gonna do? Say I'll show you another asset which has done something like this, but not 1000x. It has actually done like 120x, and it's been consolidating excuse me, from last 315 days. So if you are ready for that asset to be entering in just to give liquidity to those who are taking profit and consolidate there, that's right up to you. So guys, if you want these kind of updates for all the different assets in your portfolio, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description. And I'm definitely understanding when the market goes down, that's when you usually buy. But people tend to do it in a different way. When the market trends higher, they want to buy it. When the market is going down, they don't want to buy it. That's something different. Just consider what you would be doing in your personal life if you're going towards buying something, say shoes, clothing, groceries, any stuff. If you know that it's going down in price and the value is still same, will you buy it? Or when the price is going up, will you run behind it and buy? That's common sense and logic. Buy low, sell high. But not everyone practices this. Why? Because common sense is not the common practice. So guys, if you enjoyed the video and received value for your time, please do support the channel. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.